Hi Abhishek, welcome to Bollywood Life.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, pretty good.
Been a busy day for you, right, today?
Well, it's a busy day every day. I mean, in the during the COVID time, I think I've been the busiest, one of the busiest people because
Oh,
I've been doing post production and I've been writing, and so both things you can do from home. So yeah, it's been
it's
work.
good to be productive like that. Yeah. All right. So first of all, let me congratulate for completing 10 years in the industry, sir.
Thank
Congratulations
you,
on that. So we'll
thank you.
rehash few things. All right. We'll go back in time. We'll try to recollect few things that you have already done in time, and then we'll get back to the things that is going on right now. So let me
Sure,
start with the
sure.
first and foremost thing. The thing that highlighted your career was Tere Bin Laden, right?
Yeah,
Sir, I want to talk to you about that particular film because I saw the film when I was in college at that time, and it really fascinated me and enjoyed the movie because it was a little hatke and the concept was a little hatke, right? So
yeah.
I know there are a lot of stories behind it. Okay, I just want to know one fond memory that you remember during that particular time about Tere Bin Laden, and you can share that with us for starters.
I think the biggest memory and most important one was the release day, Friday,
Mhm.
the 16 July, when film finally we knew it was releasing, and
Mhm.
uh, the excitement that we had. I remember it was like now it was raining, and it was we were driving around theaters to see people's reaction. It started slow because it was a non-star, very non-Bollywood kind of a film, but it picked up by the evening. And in the evening, I remember watching one of the last shows of Tere Bin Laden with Pooja, Aarti, Ali, Pradhuman in the theater. And there was this roar of laughter because
All
by
right.
that time it was a full house, and there was a roar of laughter that hit us. And ever since, I've never forgotten that, and I've been chasing that. Like even in Parmanu, though that film is not a comedy, but the that had a different feeling. So people clapping together or getting emotional together,
Mhm.
uh, getting that feeling of the whole audience working as one unit, watching your film and
Right.
emoting.
Mhm.
That's an amazing feeling, and that remains till this day with me.
All right. So talking about the release, I read somewhere that you had a lot of trouble releasing this particular movie because people are not understanding the concept, distributors were not agreeing to it. Finally, Boni sir, I guess Boni sir agreed to release it, right? So what was
Yeah.
going at that time at in your mind that your movie is not coming out? Why people are not appreciating it? What was going at that time?
So, as an artist, you do everything to share it with with the world, and making the film was very smooth. But then, when it came to releasing the film, surprisingly, no studio was interested. Even some of the biggest distributors, they came to the office, saw the film, and they told my producers that this film should not be released, or this film is not fit for the market because I don't know what what you've made. So experience, when you get that kind of an experience, that's very shattering. That's it is very discouraging. But three of us, me, Pooja, and Aarti, we had faith in the film because we knew what we had made. And despite, and I'm saying this, that they saw the whole film and said it. So it's not just that they saw the trailer or the
Right.
poster or they read the synopsis. They saw the whole film. But I think at that time it was kind of ahead of its time, in the sense that there were no it was not a love story or a song and dance, the usual Bollywood. During that time there was not even any OTT that you could go and release your film.
Right.
Luckily so, because I really cherish what happened in the theaters later on. I wouldn't have been able to experience the roar of laughter which I'm
Right.
talking about. But I'm very sure that if it was today's time and the way distributors reacted, we had to release it in OTT, right? Because we wouldn't have gone on with showing it people. But that time, we kept on showing it to people, hoping that
Mhm.
some distributor will connect. And then one day, Boni sir is also a very good friend of Mr. Shetty,
Mhm.
and I knew him because I also worked in ad labs for a while. So he just asked that what's happening on that film, because he had heard that we had made a film, and he asked Pooja and Aarti to show him the film. And we were not expecting, because Boniji is a huge producer himself, and
Right.
he's made some of the biggest commercial films. And by that this time we were like, nobody's liking. Maybe we were looking at some different ways. Like Venice Film Festival was very interested in our film at that time,
Mhm.
so we
Mhm.
were thinking maybe the festival route is the right way for us. Then Boni sir came, he saw the film, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. You know, he laughed out loud in that screening, and it was unexpected for us
Mhm.
that somebody who is so commercial, as a distributor and a producer, he knows Bollywood inside out, and if he's connecting, then of course Bollywood audience will connect with it because
Right.
you know he knows his audience. So he said, "Let me distribute it." He offered to distribute it,
Mhm.
and we obviously got very excited, and we said, "All right." Made a plan,
Wow.
and now the whole mood was upswing, and everybody was really really happy that this is finally happening.
Right.
And then I think we and Boni ji, we were all right about the film, that audience loved it.
Correct.
And many distributors said sorry to Pooja and Aarti. They said that sorry,
Wow.
we could not read it right. We could not read it right. So it was an amazing feeling. I remember, I won't name, but a top critic also got completely surprised. I think the critic gave us 3 stars
Right.
uh, in the review, and this has never happened. Uh, in 3 or 4 days, there was a news in the paper, and they changed the rating to 4 stars. This
Whoa.
never, no critic changes their rating. They changed
Correct.
it to 4 because it was, I think it's so fresh and new that people didn't know how to react in the beginning. People who were from the trade or the critics, they didn't know that how should we look at this film, because there was no precedence to this film.
Mhm.
Audience does not behave like that. Audience
Right.
watches the film and they honestly react because they've paid a dime and they're watching a film. You
Right.
entertain them, so they are not confused. They come in, they watch a film, they like it or they don't like it. It's so
Right.
straight. But I think with critics and with us straight people, we evaluate a lot. So we are
Correct.
thinking a lot. That's why it's sometimes hard to get it right.
Right. But at least it was rewarding, sir. So I want to know about the story also. I know there's a story behind how you found your Laden, right? There was a similarity between you and Laden. People were telling that you both are brothers looking like. So what's the story behind that? How did you come to cast your Bin Laden for the movie? Tell me that.
I think finding Pradhuman was almost like the saying they say na, bagal mein Ram or share mein Dindora.
Right,
So
right.
basically, I was searching because when I got the idea from my own face, because a lot of people used to tell me that you look like Bin Laden, and I used to take it as a joke.
Mhm.
Um, and I wrote the script thinking that what if somebody looks, really like Bin Laden, and I
Wow.
used to narrate it, and my producer, especially Aarti, was after my life that why don't you play it,
Mhm.
because you're also from NSD, you are an actor yourself somewhere. But I never wanted to act, so I told if I don't want to do it, she says, then find somebody who's really a good actor and looks
Right.
like Bin Laden. Now, finding a good actor who looks like Bin Laden, now that is the crazy combination that you need to find, right? It's not easy. Even America has been unable to find that combination
Correct.
for the long before they found it in 2011.
Right.
So I was searching for that. I was like, I remember once I stalked a taxi driver
Mhm.
who was driving around, and to me, he looked like Bin Laden, but I was following him, clicking his pictures, and he was like really confused. Why are you doing this? And I was not finding the right person. Then one fine day, I suddenly realized, and this immediately, I mean, it happened like an epiphany out of frustration, because I was really thinking that, this film will not get made if, and I really don't want to play this role. I really don't want to get into acting. I want to make this film. And I suddenly realized that because I went into this journey that if I look like Bin Laden, and if somebody looks like me as an actor, might, with makeup, maybe we can do this. We
Right.
can make him like Bin Laden. And suddenly I realized that in 2001, and coincidentally around the same time 9/11 happened,
Mhm.
I did a play in Noida City. That
Mhm.
was my first professional assignment. I was just out of National School of Drama, and I did a play called Bindas Chor Charandas, which was an adaptation of Habib Saab's Charandas Chor,
Okay.
and it was done for the city of Noida. So it was like a workshop-driven play. So
Mhm.
I did like a 40-day workshop with the talent within Noida city,
Right.
and staged it for the community, like a community theater.
Mhm.
And in that play also, I was not finding my Charandas, the hero of the protagonist of that play. And we were auditioning for that play. And one fine day, this guy Pradhuman walks in, and he's only 17 years old during that
Mhm.
time. And that time, his brother had filled the form. He had no clue. His brother said, "अरे play हो रहा है, तू acting कर लेगा, मेरे को लगता है तू जाके try कर." He had never performed before, never acted before. But his brother, how your siblings have a hunch
Right.
that you might be a good actor, and he was not doing much at that time. According to his brother, he was not doing much around. So he thought that this will give him some sort of a thing to do. And I think it was summer vacations, a lot of time. He came, he auditioned, and he was so good. I was like, yeah, this is my Charan Das. But the problem was he was 17 years old, and the policy, because it was a community theater, was age group of 18 and above for
Right.
actors. It was not children's theater, right? So I was now in a very bad situation because it was a government project. So I went to the district magistrate of that time. I requested him. He said, okay, if his mother approves, then you can take him. We did that whole thing, and we got Pradyuman into the play,
Mhm.
and he was fantastic in the play. And I remember in the rehearsals, other actors used to make fun that how both of us sometimes look alike, and maybe this is
Right.
nepotism. you know that I got my cousin or a brother to perform in a lead role, and we used to like lightweight, not in a serious debate like what is happening today, but it was like a light-hearted
Right.
pulling of the leg sort of a thing with him. So that I remembered. I said, let me find Pradyuman. He's a brilliant actor, great comic timing, and if he looks like me, then he can look like Bin Laden.
Correct.
Then I searched for him. I found that by that time, now we are talking about 2008. So it's been like 7 years since we
Mhm.
last met. And I found out that now he was in Bengal. He was in Kolkata working with, I think, Wipro.
Mhm.
And he was in a different trajectory altogether. I called him, and he was amazed to get a phone call after so many years. And just imagine from his point of view, this guy is on his journey. You
Right.
know, he's working with a multinational company in a different trajectory, and suddenly a call comes which changes his life completely. Because I told him there's this film, and I really want you to do one of the leads, and he could not believe it. He came
Okay.
down to, so I met him in Noida itself because my folks live in Noida. I
Mhm.
showed him Bin Laden's tape, and he was first very scared. He said, "What are you wanting me to do?" But then I narrated him the whole story, and he was on board immediately. He quit the
Wow.
job, and he came to Bombay. We did a makeup test with him, with Vikram Dada. He's a genius as a makeup
Mhm.
designer, and we did a test shoot. And my producers were blown away
Whoa.
the way this guy, like how audience was that,
Right.
wow, this guy looks like Bin Laden, you know, and that's how it happened. So it's quite a story, I know, and I can, I mean, I'm so eternally grateful and thankful to Pradyuman,
Mhm.
because I don't think that we would have been able to make the film or make the film with this kind of an impact without
Right.
him. He was great in the film.
But it was rewarding session. Look at him; the resemblance was so uncanny. That's what got people hooked at it. People was enjoying that particular phase. That's amazing. But sir, as soon as after the Tere Bin Laden, you came up with Tere Bin Laden 2. What went wrong over there with you? What was the thing that you think, according to you, went wrong? I know there were two movies releasing at that time. That's one
No, no,
case.
no. No. See, that's what I was saying. Like recently, uh, that holds true for a film like Zoya Factor. Like recently, somebody asked me why Zoya Factor did not do box office. I told them because it was an overcrowded weekend. Two films already doing really, really well. That's why it did. But when it comes to Tere Bin Laden 2, I don't think that is the reason. Then that would be an excuse because Tere Bin Laden 2 had its internal issues. We went overboard. There were certain things that I understand why they didn't connect with the audience because we wanted to be different in the sequel.
Right.
So जिसको बोलते हैं हम थोड़ा सा डेढ़ शाना बोलते हैं ना हम लोग वो हो गए थे, थोड़े ओवर स्मार्ट हो गए थे हम लोग कि कुछ
All
और
right.
करेंगे तो कुछ और करने के चक्कर में अब आप तेरे बिन लादेन की ऑडियंस एंड नाउ आफ्टर 10 years you realize it has got a cult status. People really love that film. It got a lot of love from people.
Mhm.
Now they wanted to see the sequel follow the same path, see
Right.
the same characters. They loved Pakistan, how it was shown,
Mhm.
the flavor of Pakistan and that comedy.
Mhm.
It has a different kind of a humor.
Right.
Um, they loved Noora, they loved Ali, they loved those characters. And then suddenly you're throwing them off, setting it in Bombay. It's a film within a film outside a film. It's Tere Bin Laden 1 is a film in this. They were completely thrown off, and I don't blame
Right.
them. So somewhere I think we went overboard
Mhm.
trying to be out of the box. And I completely take that blame because it was my story idea. So somewhere I think, but I also do not regret it because you learn from that. I think very early on in my life I understood that what happens when you get overindulgent. See,
Correct.
one thing is that you make films half-heartedly and they fail. The other thing is that you go overindulgent with that. You feel that you're doing something, and we have seen many filmmakers, great
Correct.
filmmakers, failing because of that. So I think that's what happened out there.
And I also think somewhere it's the curse of Bollywood of the sequels. Always the sequels are not doing as great as the first part in many of the films. So I guess there's a curse behind in Bollywood for making a sequel. I think so. That okay. Do you agree with me?
I
Do you
think
agree with me?
I think it is about expectation.
All right.
I don't see it as a curse. Like one of my favorite Bollywood sequels is Lagero Munna Bhai.
Correct.
I
Yeah.
loved Gandhigiri. I loved Gandhigiri because he topped it.
Mhm.
So he did Munna Bhai MBBS, which was amazing with Jadoo Ki Jhappi. But he topped it. For me,
Correct.
I personally, I know many people might disagree with me, but personally, I like Lagero Munna Bhai more than Munna Bhai MBBS because
All right.
Gandhigiri is a fantastic concept. It
Correct.
can't go wrong. And it's a need of the hour. So that's where I think Rajuji went correct, and that's why the film worked. So you have to, if you do that right, and we've seen it. I mean, in Bollywood, I gave you one example, but we've seen with Terminator 2
Yeah. Yeah.
is much bigger than Terminator 1,
Correct.
you know. So I think it's more than the curse, it's getting it right, not being overindulgent or not being too complacent. It's finding the right balance, especially for a film which is so loved. So that's where I think, the real,
Mhm.
real idea lies that if you can do justice to that story arc.
All right. Okay, let's come to Parmanu sir, working with John Abraham, an action hero who has established himself in the industry right now. You took that particular hero, you made Parmanu with that. People really enjoyed it. So tell me how it is for you to direct an action hero like that in a film like Parmanu, and what is that one factor that impressed you about John? Because we know a lot of things about John, and we are very impressed about it. But I want to know, as a director, is he a director's actor or what?
He is a director's actor. That is
Okay,
one thing goes without saying. But he has a very good brain.
all
I'll
right,
tell you, our last conversation is so connected with this conversation. So
okay,
Tere Bin Laden 2 flops. All right.
mhm,
I have no work. And I don't know what to do next, basically, because suddenly I'm thinking that, whether I should write comedy or I'm confused because the way today I'm being very objective about why I know that Tere Bin Laden 2 didn't work. But immediately when a film flops, you don't have that objectivity, right? You don't know why it did work. So you're
right,
confused. So I'm in that confused state of mind. And I get a call from John's office. And now I have no work. I don't know what I'm doing with my life because Shaukin had already released, and so I
right,
didn't have Shaukin. Shaukin had already released. Tere Bin Laden 2 flopped, and I had no film in my hand. John called me, and he gave me a script, which was a comedy. He said, "I love your film Tere Bin Laden, and I want to work with you," because he thought that I have a different sense of humor, and he wanted a director like me to work with.
mhm,
I said, all right. And he then went on to tell me why he liked Tere Bin Laden so much. And by that time I'm used to finding praise for Tere Bin Laden. But then he goes on to say that, and that Obama rap is really awesome. And I'm like, Obama rap? Hold on a minute. That's in Tere Bin Laden too.
right.
It's so this guy has loved Tere Bin Laden too. He's the only man in the world who has
Okay,
loved, and he's not seen Tere Bin Laden, the first
okay,
part.
all right,
So
all
for
right,
him, this is Tere Bin Laden.
okay,
Because also it's not called two, it's called Tere Bin Laden Dead or Alive. So he
mhm,
assumed that this is what it is. I
yeah,
said, John, this is the part two. He said, there is another part. I said, yeah. I said, but don't watch that now.
right,
You love that film. Let's have this conversation.
okay,
So I took the script, very excited that, I have to, I finally, my flop film is giving me another work.
Right.
I read the script. Though it was a comedy, I didn't like that script much. And I was thinking after meeting John, I was constantly thinking about Parmanu because the way I had written Parmanu, for me, somewhere John had fit the bill, and I really liked the vibe. Because when I met John for the first time only, I really liked this guy. We had a great wavelength.
Mhm.
I said, rather than uh, I went back to him and I told him that I didn't like the script and I don't want to do this film. I want to do another film. And John was very nice about it. He said, "Yeah, all right. If you don't like the script, don't. That's fine." He didn't even tell me that if you want to rework the script, and he. That's what I really admire about him. That he is a frank person and he takes it as is. So he didn't try to convince me on that. He said, "Okay, let's not flog the dead horse. Forget this film. What is the film that you want to make?" And I then narrated him the Parmanu story, and he loved it. And the good thing about him is that he immediately understood where this film can go. That's
All
his
right.
brain. He understands that. He understands, what can work. And not for once he had any doubts that, I've been making comedies and now suddenly it's a drama. He didn't
Correct.
have that doubt also. And he came on board and he said, okay, let's do this film. And that's how it happened. So and then he completely surrendered as an actor. He told me, you tell me how you see him. So I requested him to, reduce the muscle mass because he was playing a character who's not an
Yeah.
action star. I said, you can't be bulky. So he lost that so that, in that under the shirt or that you don't see pumped up muscles.
Mhm.
Then, the way we wrote the script, there is no action scene. There's one scene in which he's getting beaten up.
Correct.
He hardly lands a punch because he does not know even how to shoot. He doesn't know how to work the gun also.
Right.
So all those things, it's completely unlike John, in that film. Like even in Madras Cafe,
Mhm.
where he acted so well, he was playing an action hero. He was
Right.
somebody who went to the war. And here, it's nothing of that sort. So for him to do that, it's really brave of him. And he never once doubted that or even suggested anything that एक scene डाल देते हैं ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. He said, "You make the film the way you want." And we don't have a song and dance in the film because
Correct.
it didn't go with the flavor. He never told me, let's put an item number, let's put a. He didn't want to dilute the process. He said, "You
Mhm.
make the film." And this is coming from a person who, at that time, I think was coming back to theaters after 2 or 3 years. He had
Correct.
taken a gap. To be so secure, that is the biggest thing. He's so secure as an actor. He's so secure that, all right, I can do this very different character. It's an ensemble film, though
Mhm.
he's the protagonist, but there are so many characters. It's not that completely. It's like a hero heroine film. It's not. He
Right.
doesn't have a romantic track, so to say. It has no Bollywood trappings, and he's like okay with it.
So that's what fascinated me about the particular Praman movie. That's why I saw John in a very different light, and that's what drawed me to the theaters and watch the movie and see him totally different what he's doing because he's an action hero,
Yeah,
he's an established action hero. But him doing that was something new to see and something really amazing to see. That's what I wanted to talk to you about on that topic. Now I want to talk to you about his Manoj Bajpayee, sir, the new movie that you're coming up with him.
yeah.
I can see your filmography, sir. It's so versatile. The movies that you have chosen, the movies that you're doing, it's so different from one another. And now you're coming with an actor like Manoj Bajpayee, sir. What is that movie about? Can you speak on that first? Because I want to know. I'm
So
very excited about that.
no, same here. I mean, it's a lovely film and amazing actors. Manoj sir, Diljit, Fatima, Anu
Again,
Kapoor,
a very different cast from me.
very different
One
cast.
another. Diljit is different. Manoj is different.
Yeah.
Fatima is totally different. And putting all together in a particular film, it's really exciting for us to watch.
Yeah, it's a very exciting film. Suraj Pe Mangal Bhari is, I would call it a genre-defining comedy because despite being a family comedy,
Mhm.
which everybody can watch together, it's a clean film. Uh, the great part about that film is that it's taking you to a place where you've never been to before. It's about this wedding detective, which is being played by Manoj sir. It's a very, very, very exciting character. You've never seen this character actually before, and uh, you know, he is somebody who does the background check for grooms, the prospective
Correct.
grooms, from the girl's side to figure out if there is any character, flaw
Right.
before the girl gets married in that arranged marriage situation. And Suraj, which is Diljit's character, is the bechara, one of the prospective grooms who is his target, and how they get into this one-upmanship, and it's a cat and mouse out there.
Hmm.
It's a very funny film. It's set in the age of innocence, which I call the 90s. No mobile phones, no social
Right.
media. So you had to basically literally stalk people to figure out what they are
Right.
doing. कोई बुरी आदत तो नहीं है. So you're just following people rather than going into their Facebook page and checking. That was not the thing that you could do. So it's a very interesting space, time and space, and the 90s Mumbai, the kind of music that we have, the characters that we have, the ensemble, like I just talked about, the ensemble is,
Right.
just see, from Manoj Sir, Diljit, Fatima, Anu Kapoor,
Hmm.
Seema Pawa, Manoj Pawa, Vijay Raj, Supriya Pilgaonkar ji.
Wow.
They're amazing actors one after the other. And some of the new faces were also amazing in the
Hmm.
film. It's a very, very, I would say, fresh film, which is going to make you nostalgic in a very sweet and cute way because it
That's
takes
what's
you back.
happening. When you're trying to explain me the movie is going in my head, and I'm getting a
Yeah,
nostalgic feeling about the 90s.
yeah,
Manoj Bajpayee sir doing that.
yeah.
I can't wait for the movie to come out. So, but given the condition right now, are you considering it to release it on the digital platform? Are you going to wait for the theaters to open and then go ahead and release it?
See, personally, as a director, I think it's a theatrical experience film.
All right.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Even Z is very excited. They've seen the film, the first cut. Everybody loved it.
Mhm.
We all agree that it's a theatrical experience film. It is a theatrical experience. It's
Right.
a family comedy with music. It's something where the roar of laughter
Right.
is what is expected. What I talked about, Tere Bin Laden. So I think somewhere it is in that zone. It is in that, and it also has a lot of social satire in it.
Mhm.
So it's an amazing experience which we want people. I personally want people to see it in theaters,
All right.
but we do not know till the time theaters open. So we are all waiting for theaters to reopen, and once that happens, only then the final call can be taken. But I'm really praying that it releases in theater,
So
and it
even
will be
I'm praying
amazing.
with you right now. So let's pray together that the theaters open very soon and we get to see this movie
Yes.
in a space where everyone's enjoying it and we hear the laughter, that we don't
Yeah.
experience while we see it on the digital platform.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. I should let you go right now.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for chatting with me and thank you so much for rehashing all the old memories with me. It was really amazing
Thank
for me
you.
getting all,
Thank you. Same here.
excited. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward for the movie and looking forward to see you in
Please.
person and we can do this again. Yeah.
Yes. Done. Done. Take care,
Thank you so
man.
much, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.